What's up, TikTok? Another girl coming at you from Letcher County, Kentucky. Born and raised. I love this place. It's my home. I was raised here. I knew Judge Mullins. I knew Sheriff Stines. I know their families.
Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
I'm here to talk about the corruption. The corruption that has been here for decades that I know of. Probably longer, probably deeper than any of us know. It can be a really dark place. It can be a really dark place. But with all the attention that's being focused here right now, I thought it might be a good time to tell you about what I know. To tell you about the things that I do know to be true. Not theories, not rumors. Truth. Truth. You guys might have the time and the resources to look into things that I don't. See how many people in Letcher County have been murdered. See how many of those people had connections to our courthouse. See how many of those murders are unsolved. I know at least one. Jack Blair. I'm his daughter. 24 years ago, this very day, his remains were laying in a car on its top on Pine Mountain. I can see it from where I'm sitting. 250 feet over the mountain. His remains would stay there until October 15th in 2000. I had just turned 18 years old. My dad went missing June 30th. He was involved in some stuff. If you want to Google him, go ahead. There's nothing that he's done that I am ashamed to say that he did, because nothing that he has done is worse than anything that these people in the news are being accused of right now. What I will tell you is he was a good man, and he was my dad. He was a son, he was a husband, a brother. He was missing for 3.5 months. 3.5 months. A detective wasn't even assigned to the case until after his remains were found. By a man scouting for deer on his property. He came upon the car, saw that there was a body inside, contacted the local sheriff at the time. The state police were on the scene. The state police commissioner, I believe it was, the state police captain, Danny Webb. He was in charge of the investigation. I know at least 2 state troopers who were present when my father's remains were removed from the car that they were in, who begged for his remains not to be taken out of that car until the crime scene specialist came and did it. Because they have a saying, apparently, in the state police. It says, if it's showing bone, leave it alone. Well, my father had been decomposing for 3.5 months. He was found in jumper cables. I say bound in jumper cables because it wasn't an accident that he was entangled in those. It was intentional. He couldn't have done it himself. It was decided by the medical examiner and one of the detectives that it would have been impossible for him to wrap himself in those cables like this on his own. This is from his autopsy report, which I have. Have lots of newspaper articles like this, and like this, and like this, and this. Got all kinds. Got all kinds. The state medical examiner and the forensic anthropologist renowned in her field, Dr. Emily Craig, she performed the autopsy in Frankfurt, which his body was taken to Frankfurt. I believe it was the next day, that night or the next day. You know, after the crime scene had been traveled by a lot of local rescue squads, fire departments, you know, things of that nature. Dr. Craig now uses in seminars and trainings that she does, she uses my father as an example of what not to do when removing a body or someone's remains from a crime scene. It was that bad. It was that bad. Once she started to perform the autopsy, she realized that not everything was there that should have been there. So the cadaver dogs were taken back up to the mountain to find most of what was missing. Now, 24 years later, we know nothing more now than we knew then. The jumper cables weren't even fingerprinted. I mean, I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer, but I think it could have. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. So the state police commissioner then, guess what he ran for right after my dad's murder? Got it. Sheriff of Letcher County. He was the sheriff of Letcher County until Mickey Stines won the election, until Mickey Stines was sheriff of Letcher County. There's a lot to be looked into. There's a lot to be looked into, TikTok, and you can have a field day. There's something to think about. Something to look into while you're waiting on more details to come out about the hot topic. Here's some more Letcher County news for you, and I guarantee my daddy's not the only one.